How's it going? What I want to do today, most exciting thing in the world, is angle addition and bisectors. Listen, angle addition's simple, okay? Because all you got to do is add them together and give you the whole thing, all right? So, if you take a look at this example I got here, if I look at this angle, let me put some red on there. There we go. If I take and highlight this part of the angle, all right, I take that red piece and if I change it to green for this angle and I add those two measurements together, it's going to give me the whole angle, which is this purple angle, okay? So similarly, yeah, something like that. If you take the purple one and you subtract it from the green one, it's going to give you the red one. I'll say it again. If you take the purple measurement and you subtract it from the green one, it's going to give you that red one. All right? That's angle addition. So if you add the two small ones, you can get the large one. But if you know the large one and you know one of the smaller ones, you can subtract them and get the other one. All right? Now, bisector. Well, bisector is awesome because bisector means cut in half. Right? So if I wanted to give you, I don't know, let's say half the pizza, probably not going to happen. I'll probably eat 3/4 of it. But if I wanted to give you half, that would be called bisecting. Okay? And so that means if I'm giving you half of it, that means that these two pieces would be the same measurement, okay? Whatever they are, they're the same, okay? Congruent, all right? Congruent. Good. So let's look at some examples of this, all right? Woo! Look at all this junk that came with this. All right, so look. The measurement of angle UTS is 63. The measurement of UTW is 38. I want to find the measurement of WTS. So the first thing I like to do is I just like to highlight what I know. So I'm looking at UTS. That's 63. So let's go down here on a figure. UTS, that red one, is 63. That happens to be the whole thing, right? That's the whole angle, okay? All right, so let's continue and look at this. If I look at this particular problem, I also know that UTW is 38. So UTW, which is this whole thing right here, is 38 degrees, okay? All right, now, I'm looking for that other piece, which is WTS. So since I have the whole thing, right, and I have a piece of it, then all I have to do is subtract the two because I'm looking for another piece of it. So I'm looking for WTS. So I take 63 and I subtract it from 38. All right? So always, I'm telling you, always get your calculator and just type it in there just to make sure that you're right. So 63 minus 38, that gives me 25. So 25 degrees happens to be my answer for this problem. And that would be this angle right here. Woohoo! All right, let's keep going. All right, Ray PT is the angle bisector. Man, I know what that means. What's that mean? That means cut in half. Bisector of RPS. All right, we're going to find the measurement of TPS, right? So this is bisecting that, which means this and this are the same. Like I said, if I wanted to give you half the pizza, I'd cut it in half. That's called bisecting. That means that I'm giving you a congruent piece of what I have, all right? So 37 degrees is this one. That means that the other one has to be, well, you guessed it, 37 degrees, all right? So that whole thing, this whole problem, pretty simple. You just have to piece it together, 37, right? 37 is that piece. Let's keep going. Woohoo! We got some X variables. I love it. We got some expressions and some garbage that we like to put together because we look at it and we go, I don't want to do it, but it's simple. So let's do it. All right, let's highlight some things. RST is 168. I know I need to find X, so we know we're looking for X when we do this problem. Okay, so we know RST is this whole thing, right? RST. So that's 168. And if I look at RSI, that is this piece, right? And if I look at IST, that's this piece. All right? So IST is X plus 119, right? And the other half is x plus 67. Maybe I shouldn't say other half because we're not sure if they're the same. I didn't tell you they were. And the whole thing is 168. All right, so that means based off angle addition, I can take the two pieces and I can add them together and they'll give me that whole thing, right? So let's do that. So if I take x plus 119, right, and I add that, I'm going to add it. I'm going to add it to x plus 67 because that is the other piece, right? So x plus 67. And I'm going to set that equal to the whole thing, which is 168. Then all I have to do is solve it, right? So let's do that. Let's solve it. So how do I solve that? Well, I guess what? We got to combine some like terms, all right? So we set it up this way because of angle addition. Now we're going to use algebra to combine them like terms, which are x and x, which makes 2x. We have 119 and 67. Again, we better take our calculator and check it out, right? So let's just put it in there. 119 plus 67 equals 186. It's always good to check, always good to check. We don't want to get things wrong because we added incorrectly. All right, now we got 168 over there. All right, so now I got to take away this 186. So when I take this 186 away, I got to subtract those two things from each other. So I have 2x equals, let's figure it out. Let's always use our calculator just to make sure. 168 minus 186 equals negative 18. And then I'm going to divide by 2 to finish this problem off. And x is going to equal negative 9. Man, that is simple. Simple stuff. Now listen, x can be negative 9, right? But if I plug it back in and I want to try to find a missing measurement, well, guess what? The angle can't be negative, but the angle has to be positive. So like if I plug this guy right back in here and I wanted to find that measurement, I mean, that's fine. But if it's negative, then that means you've done something wrong in your algebra, okay? But right now, if I had to plug that back in, it'll give me a positive answer. So we're good. We're good. We're Gucci. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I think I got one more problem. Oh, yeah, a bisector problem. All right, so look, bisect. BT bisects again. We know that that means that this is congruent to this. Find the value of x. So we're, again, looking for x. What is x? All right, so look, what we do know, okay, what we do know, which is pretty awesome, is we know that bisector means cut in half, right? All right, so look, if it means cut in half, then that means we know that those two parts are the same, okay? Now, we can't use angle addition here, right? Because we don't know what the whole angle is. We can't guess it. We can't put an x there because we're not sure if it is x, all right? So we have to use the idea of bisector, okay? So when I see that term bisector, we need to use that idea, and that means that they're equal, which means essentially that 5x minus 17 equals 3x plus 14. All right? 5x, that's a pretty ugly 5. 5x minus 17 equals 3x plus 14. Let's go ahead and solve it, all right? So if I want to solve that, I need to get rid of this x. I like to take my variables to the left side. All right, I like to take them to the left side. That's the strong side. So we're going to take it over there. So 5x minus 3 is 2x. Minus 17, I'm still going to have that, equals 14. Now I got to add 17 to both sides. All right, so we need to make sure we do that. And when we add 17 to both sides, I'm going to be left with a 2x. All right. Equals, again, that's pretty ugly too, but 2x equals, and then we got to add them together again. Use that calculator, man. Use that calculator just to make sure. So that would be 14 plus 17, and that gives you a magical 31. Then you have to divide. So I got to take and divide by 2. So once I divide by 2, x is going to equal 15.5. And so that means All right. What that means is that we can have decimals too, and that's okay. All right. Decimals, fractions, all that stuff. That's great. It's okay. And so angle addition and bisectors, this is how you use them to be able to find missing measurements or missing values of x, or just looking at regular numbers and trying to figure out what they are. Okay, so that's angle addition and angle bisector. Make sure that you go ahead and smash that subscribe button, and make sure that you go ahead and check out any other videos that you need from me. Toodaloo.